field, there is an AI tool or platform that you may be able to use. So what I think is that if you are not able to use the AI tools, then that is where an AI or somebody who can use the AI tools will replace you. So once, of course, most of the AIs will not work on their own. When drone came, they say it's going to take the work of photographers and all that. The drones so far they don't fly themselves. It's somebody that will fly it. You get it. And so there are tools, and tools are supposed to be used by human beings. So yes, there are some extreme cases, but I know that if we fear or if we have fear and we don't do anything about it, what have we achieved or gained? So once there are tools, we should be able to learn how to use tools to make things easier for ourselves. That's what I'll add. Thank you.
Yeah. And one of the quotes that has become like my mantra is the proverb about or the saying about the 21st century illiterates. That the 21st century illiterates, right, is not someone who cannot read and write, but someone who cannot learn or learn and relearn. That means that what you learned in school 4 years ago might not be even relevant now or relevant the next year. Nadida has their hands up. Nadida, would you want to share maybe your 2 cents on that? And I see Micah is on the call now, so we can then take that as the last comment and we hand over to Micah.
I'm sorry, what can you say?
Yes, but it's God that's telling you to talk. So tell us something. What do you think? Would you think AI would replace the jobs of humans?
I don't think so. I think that if there's anything, it's only going to enhance it. And for you to be effective and to adapt to your skills and values, you have to learn to use them in order to catch up with the transformation.
Super. Thank you very much for that submission. So you need to catch up and make sure that you jump on the train as early as possible. I think we see Expound. Your hand is up. Expound, do you want to share something? You can unmute. But before that, I want to know, Mike, are you ready for us?
Yeah, good evening, guys.
Yes, I'm ready for us.
Awesome. So we'll take the last feedback from Expound, then we hand over to Micah. So Expound, over to you. Your thoughts. Good.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Good evening, guys. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Hello,
Can
good
hear you.
evening.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, our lecture made us saying that the future is scary, especially with those people who are not willing to inculcate AI and technology in whatever they are doing. And then the future is not going to wait for you. You need to join the train. Because no one, like the way things are going, no one is going to wait for you. Especially as at now, when you check out what ChatGPT and DeepSeek and then other search engines are doing, no one is going to wait for you. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I like the sound of urgency and the fact that the time is now. This is the right time and the perfect time for us to make sure that we are using AI either in our business, in our personal lives, because no one is waiting for you. If you stop, you go. You don't just stop, but you go 5 years behind. On that note, I would want to thank all of you for your insightful submissions and hand over to Micah. Micah, we are your audience. Take us away.
All right. So thank you very much, Ronald. Am I audible? Like, can everybody hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right. So my apologies for the tardiness. I had a glitch with my device, so I'm using a different device this evening. So kindly pardon me, but we'll still get things done. I think I've been following the conversations via my mobile device, and it's been fantastic. Some of the things you guys are speaking about and then talking about. I think that we are gradually moving, even though there's still a lot of people that need sensitization on AI and then the opportunities that lie there within. I think a lot more people within this current space, like those who are currently on the call, have a fair idea that they need some level of knowledge or understanding or skill when it comes to things AI related. And one thing I keep telling people these days is that when it comes to AI, what you want to do is to ensure that in this current day and time, you don't how do you call it? You don't go about without knowledge of at least 2 AI tools. I hope you guys can see my whiteboard. I'm going to start from my whiteboard first, and then we'll build up from there. So you don't want to go about not having mastery of at least 2 AI tools. One could be for work, one could be for personal stuff. One could be for work, one could be for personal stuff, and then, or you could do both for work, whichever way you choose. But whichever way, make sure that before at least the year ends, you have a very good understanding, very good use of at least 2 AI tools that are relevant to what you do. Because if they are relevant to what you do, you'll be encouraged to utilize them a lot more. All right, so when we talk about integrating AI into your business, of course, we need to understand some fundamentals of AI itself as a whole. We are not going to do definitions here. Of course, ChatGPT can feed you the definition of AI, blah, 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 all of those things. But we are looking at practical use cases for businesses, whether business owners or whether you work in other institutions. How do I take what's out there? Because there's a lot. Like every week, there's some new AI platform or tool or technology or something, right? So we'll look at that. We'll look at some of the core offerings out there, how you can like narrow things down and then take that. So when it comes to our businesses, usually what happens is you're going to probably categorize your utilization of AI into a number of fields. This is not necessarily restricted to what I'm going to share with you, but that's sort of my own way of categorizing the use of AI within the business setup based on certain various business needs that I've observed and also studied that businesses utilize AI for. So usually, let me go here. Yeah. So usually you'd have, let's say, let me zoom out. Yeah, let me zoom out there. You're probably going to have about 5. Pardon my drawing, okay? I'm not so good at drawing with the mouse, but hopefully you'll be able to get an understanding of what I'm trying to accomplish. All right, so let me link them up. Let's do tools, and then let's link these up. All right, so we'll link these up here with. All right, here, right here, and this. Okay, great. So when we look at our business setup, usually you're going to find yourself in a couple of situations, right? So you're going to have people who would probably use AI first for communication, right? So we put the communication people here. So AI tools that enhance communication within your business. We are also going to come here. We are going to duplicate this, and then we'll say, we'll give these guys a different color. So we'll probably say that these guys are the research guys, right? And then we'll probably duplicate this again. I'll do a breakdown of all these things. So do products, product development, product dev. I'll just do product dev here. Do one more. So we could probably fit in the marketing guys here. Oh, sorry. Then my spelling. Yeah. And then lastly, we could probably do reporting. Okay. So just change up these colors a bit so that we know exactly what we are looking at. Okay, that's not readable enough. This. Okay, we'll change this up a bit. Product dev, be able to see product dev better. And then lastly, reporting. Okay, we'll probably put that in blue. Okay, all right, great. So pardon my funny looking drawing. It looks like a stick figure turned upside down, a stick figure with round hands and round legs. Anyway, so when it comes to integrating AI into your business, right, what I've found is, of course, these may not necessarily be the only sectors or areas where you could utilize this. For instance, if you run a service business, you could also use AI, but these would most likely cover an aspect of your business where you could integrate AI, right? And we're going to dive into each of them one by one, and then we're going to look at practical tools you can use for each of these. At some point, maybe I might go a little bit faster because we'll look at the practical things, and I guarantee you that this is a very practical session. It's not going to be all like funny drawings and all of that. So when you take AI tool, before you consider using any AI tool within your business, there are at least a couple of things that you should consider, right? So before you dive down here, let me move this down a bit. So before you come down here, there are certain things you should consider. So I'll draw a line here. We'll draw a very straight, not so straight line here. And then we'll say that, okay, so before you come in here, just make this a bit big. Yeah. All right. So we'll say that things to consider. So before you even consider adopting AI, AI into your business. Pardon me, because I lost access to my device. I already had these things prepared, so I have to put this together quickly so that we go through. Okay, great. So before you even consider adopting AI in your business, there are a couple of things that you should most likely consider, right? We'll zoom in a bit and then look at that. So here, or you go back in. All right, and then you come here. Okay, great. So over here, you need to consider security, costs, and ease of use. Okay, so these aren't the only things you'd have to consider, but these are the few things we'll look at right now. So before taking in any AI tool to use in your business, you need to consider at least, even if you don't do anything, consider at least these three things, right? Consider security, consider the cost of using that AI tool, and consider the ease of use. Now let's break this down a bit further. Security is important. It's essential because the number one thing that AI thrives on is data. AI models are trained on loads and loads of data. Recently, there was a case, a legal case against Anthropic. Anthropic are one of the leading AI companies behind Claude AI, right? So I'll just share this screen with you. So they are the ones behind this Claude AI, right? Claude AI is an extremely powerful tool. For those of you probably have heard something about vibe coding or building apps with AI, you're most likely have heard or probably interacted with Claude in one way or the other. It's also pretty good at when it comes to, sorry, I'll just, okay. All right, let me just get started. Okay, I'll come back to this, but let me go back to the presentation. All right, so that's Claude AI, right? And there was a law case against them. Basically, what the law case was about was that I think either a publishing house or an author or something of a book took them to court saying that they trained the AI on content within their book, right? And they feel like that was not fair to them. And Anthropic ended up winning the lawsuit because they said it was fair use. Just like you'd buy a book and read it or make notes in the book, if they paid for the book legally and then took the pages apart and trained their AI with it, then the court saw it as they were free to go, right? So as a business, if you're going to use any AI tool out there, know that for them, it benefits them a lot if they're able to refine their tool with the data they receive from users. For instance, ChatGPT, if you guys remember when there was that whole Ghibli trend and then people were generating images with Ghibli, So what ChatGPT did in sort of improve their system was they were taking user logs, right? And at the launch of that feature, the user logs are just additional, simply put, like additional information about how people are using the ChatGPT tool and like the issues they're facing or any like major system issues that they should be aware of, feedback, positive feedback, and all stuff like that. Literally, their infrastructure was so overwhelmed that the logs they were receiving from users doubled within the period of they using letting people generate those Ghibli images with their platform. And because of that, they had a lot more data to work with and to refine the performance of their tools and their AI. So before you integrate AI into your business, consider security concerns. To be safe, I advise businesses that if you're not training an AI model from scratch or picking like one of the open source models, right? The open source models are the ones that are available for open to build or use for business purposes, so you're able to take that model, train it with your own data, and use that for internal purposes, right? And at a certain level, you can't go about using the default, maybe ChatGPT. Maybe you want to build a particular AI tool that helps maybe all the hospitals in Ghana be able to quickly detect maybe malaria or detect certain diseases within like patients showing up, maybe just looking at certain functionality. That will require you to train an AI model extensively on some amount of data. So if you're going with an open source approach, then that's good. But consider security, right? It's very essential. On the small scale end, if you're going to use tools, the everyday tools we have out there, you want to consider using tools from some of the main popularly known companies. So companies like Anthropic, who are part of those leading the AI race. Companies like those XAI, you're looking at Meta and their Llama models, you're looking at ChatGPT and Gemini and all of those things. So even though they don't guarantee your data security, at least those companies are required by law and other things holding them to ensure that your data is, to an extent, even though they don't lie about certain things, to an extent is secure. So before you do that, always consider security. The next thing is cost. Because for every business, if you are adopting new tools, you're also looking at how it's going to improve your business and bring you more sales. So you don't just hop on a tool because, they said right now everybody's using ChatGPT at work, so we use ChatGPT and we'll go and pay for premium. Yes, but if let's say what you're doing requires you to do a lot more of like research, you could probably maybe switch over to maybe something like some of the offerings from Google, right? Maybe use NotebookLM, for instance, to take different information from different locations, and then you'll be able to do a much more maybe detailed research that could also be converted into something that is easily digestible. And we'll look at that very shortly. All right. And then the last one is to also consider ease of use, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself by the AI tool that you go and pick. Maybe you go and watch some Instagram video, they're telling you that there's this new AI tool that can help you create product photos for your business. Then you go and download it, then now you are stressed. When you click, you don't even know where you're going to, you don't know where to start from, you don't know what to use it for. So always consider ease of use. Explore the tool, find out, does it suit me? If it doesn't suit you, then move on to another one. So those are some 3 key things I'll suggest that we consider. So now we can actually delve into the practical side of things by taking these one after the other. So we'll look at communication tools first, and then we'll look at some practical communication tools. All right, so when it comes to communicating, integrating AI into the communications aspect of your business, there are a couple of things that you need to look at, and we'll look at actual tools that help with some of these things, right? So let me go here. We've already talked about security and other things. So when it comes here, we have voice. Sorry, I'm drawing instead of typing, right? So we could do communication via voice. So let's start with the most basic one that we all use. So we have text, which we all do every day. You do WhatsApp, you do Instagram, you do Snapchat every day. We have what are you tools? I'll just draw this up. Yeah, we have this here, and then we have this over here. All right, great. So we have your text tools, all right? So when it comes to communication, we have our text over here. We have our video tools, video communication tools. We have our audio. And sometimes we even have tools that combine all of them, right? So when it comes to text, there are quite a number of platforms that most of us are already probably familiar with. And then we'll look at a number of them, maybe just two of them because of time. And then we'll look at maybe one of each, one for video, one for audio. And then we'll look at how you could probably integrate that into your business. So when it comes to your business, one way you could use, so I say that these days, some of the AI tools that we have out there, right, they are should I say, they are like weapons, right? So you need to understand the effective way of using them for your business, right? So for communication, let's say you need to draft a letter to an employee or to a superior or to a stakeholder or an external partner, right? How do you properly use some of the tools available to be able to accomplish that goal that you want? So I'll go here and show this tab with Groq, for instance. It's one of my favorite because I think they give you a lot of value and a lot of useful tools for free compared to what you get from other platforms. OpenAI has tried to be a bit generous these days and give us a bit more tools, but even with that, it still doesn't compare to some of the things you could do with Groq. And then maybe we'll look at one other one and then we'll continue from there. Now, before you even start typing a prompt for the letter you want, because I see people do this sometimes and it's quite obvious, right? Because when AI generates slop for you, I think anybody who is discerning would be able to tell, right? So when it comes to writing your prompts for your documents that you need for your business, there are a couple of ways to go about it, right? So I always tell people that before you even talk to the AI, you need to give it context, right? So before you type out your prompt, give it a good context, right? Give it context, then give it context, your instruction, your examples, and then the extra, let's say extra tools, right? Good. So we'll do a practical example. So let's say the context is that you want to write, all right? So I want to write an official letter requesting to offer toners to, let's say to a church. No, not a church. Church doesn't use toners so much. To a school, let's say, right? To a school at a reduced cost, right? So that's your context. You want to write an official letter requesting. So just start from what you know you want to do, right? Also, you don't need to type the things I've written this way. I'll clean it up after I'm done. It's just to show you guys the thinking that should go into writing it, right? And you can apply this across ChatGPT and all the other ones. It's not set in stone. You could go to, you could even ask ChatGPT or Groq itself to help you improve your prompts, or even ask it to improve the prompts for you, right? And then you come here. So the instruction is that, so you can now further specify. So write a one-page letter addressed to, let's say, the school of, let's say, to the head of, let's say, logistics at the School of Business, Accra. Let's just assume that that's the theoretical name, right? So let's just text, okay, here. Text, okay. Okay, great. Then you can give a further example saying that, okay, let the letter be only one page long, and it should have my business name, Then you give them your business name, which is, let's say, Toner Masters, right? So now we've given a context, we've given an instruction, we've given examples. Now the extra tools come in based on the platform you are on. And I feel like it's a really underutilized tools when I speak to businesses, right? Especially for research. You know, when you come here, for instance, you have this research button here, deep search button, sorry, and you have even deeper search, right? Which takes a longer time to think about what you want to do, and then goes online, uses all the data it has to generate something that is very detailed and very relevant to you. Because of time, we'll not do a deeper research, and this is not the right context for deeper research. So when you're on any platform and you give it the instruction, before you hit send, look at the available option of additional tools they have and see which of them supports what you want to do. For instance, some platforms like ChatGPT, because I'm not logged into Groq yet, like I said, this is a different device from my device. So you are able to upload even an example of a letter you want to use, for instance. And then once you do that, it will look at the format and then generate what it wants to generate for you. So you will clean this up. So clean up this was just to guide you so that you know how to properly structure your prompt. It's not there are courses on prompt engineering that you could take online to enhance your prompt. But these days, like I always say, they've trained most of these tools to be able to make up for your shortfalls. So just having a basic understanding of these things will make your work 10 times easier, rather than just typing write a letter for me to the School of Business, Accra. You know, so things like that, sometimes it might give you a result that might be okay, but people go like, oh, me, when I type it, I don't get what I want. How do you always get what you want? Give it a bit more context, give it an instruction, give it an example. It makes life much easier. So I'll go ahead and do that. It might probably even ask me to log in. Okay, no, it's not asking me to do that. So once you do that, you give it some form of context, right? It's able to give you something much closer to what you expect. And based on that, you're able to improve what you've put together, right? It's still working. So I'm sure when it's done, we'll be able to view it properly. Okay. So I'll just tell it that I want this in a downloadable Word document. So I'll go ahead and tell Groq that I want this. I don't like this format that's giving me. I want this in a downloadable Word document. And just like that, is generated a Word style document for me, which I can actually edit. Rule number 2, please don't just consume everything AI gives to you, because there's a lot of hallucination, not a lot per se, but there's hallucination when it comes to AI. It might put things in there that are not correct. It might say things that are untrue, but always read through it, refine it before you go ahead to utilize it. So this knowledge, when it comes to your prompting and stuff like that, can actually be applied across, not just with Groq, but applied across to platforms like ChatGPT or even Gemini, right? So you could use that across Gemini as well. So always take some time, explore the platform, understand what the platform sort of offers in terms of tools. Take your time when you're writing your prompt, your text prompt, and that will do your business a lot more good. The second thing is that when you use some of these platforms, it's best to have an account, right? When you have an account and then you on ChatGPT, I don't have my device, I would have showed you. On the paid plan of ChatGPT, for instance, you have projects you could set up, and within those projects, you can upload a lot of documents relating to your business, so that every time you query that particular project, it's able to give you something that is already customized without you having to put too much effort into it. So explore with the tools that are available to you. Make sure you are within your account so that the AI learns from the way you write your prompt, the type of information you require, so that it becomes much faster and better for you to generate documents that you need. So because of time, I might have to move a little bit faster than I would want to. So that's by text tools. So once again, the text tools are countless out there. There's so many of them. There's Perplexity, there's Gemini, there's Claude, there's some that I don't even know the names about. But what you can do is, even if you pick one or two of them and you master them and you understand how they work, it's easier to translate to other ones. Of course, some platforms are more specialized to certain things, for instance, like for research, for medical information and all of those things. But still, being able to put in a good prompt is a good skill to have. So we'll quickly hop over to video, and then we'll come to audio, and then probably we'll look at maybe presentation tools. So let me see if I can load up the presentation tools for you quickly. Okay. Okay, so I don't have my account logged in, but I'll try and see if I can at least demonstrate something real quick. But Gamma is one of my favorite tools for AI-powered presentations, because once you once you sign in and then you give it an idea as to what you want to create, it builds up. Okay, let me see if I can continue with Google. Okay, all right. All right, but I'll just introduce you to the platform, and then you can take some time to play around with it. Gamma is such an interesting platform because once you put in your idea, right? So let's scroll down here. You give it your text. You could even give it your document, upload your document. It will take that, and within a short period of time, generate a beautiful presentation for you, which you can edit and then go ahead to present, right? So once again, like we discussed earlier, be mindful of your security, be mindful of the information you give it. If it's extremely sensitive business data, you don't want that on some of these AI tools. Probably you want to use something, maybe if you use M365, you want to probably use some of the tools that Microsoft offers to you. But if not, and it's not information that's very sensitive, you can test out Gamma. It makes very beautiful presentations in a very short time. The ease of use is pretty good. You're able to generate AI images and even use them right in the presentation. And I think it's a very good platform to explore. There are multiple ones out there, so you can play around with them. One website I'll introduce you guys to, or two websites I'll introduce you guys to. Number one is, hold on. Number one is Hugging Face. So Hugging Face is basically an AI-powered community that sort of allows people who sign up, or members, to sort of sometimes have playgrounds to test out some features of AI tools, right? So when you go to the Hugging Face community, there are so many apps that you can test, right? So if I go to Explore AI Apps, it might ask me to create an account, but let's see. Yeah, so when you come here, for instance, right, and then you're looking for something that you could use for maybe text generation, for instance, you can filter down by text generation, right? You find out some of the tools that are out there for text generation, right, based on what you want to do. So some for coding, some for web scraping, and all kinds of things, right? So if you come to image generation, we'll look at image generation shortly. We'll try one of the options from here because it's much easier to try, and then we'll look at video generation. All right, so we'll come back to this Hugging Space, and then one other place that I really like. Obviously, most of the popular ones, like ChatGPT and Groq and Gemini, all do image generation natively now, and even Gemini goes a step ahead to do video generation. I was hoping we could look at that, but maybe time wouldn't allow us. And one other website you can check out is futuretools.io. Now, this website is a good way to have like a good catalog of some of the popular tools out there, and you can browse based on categorization as well, right? So you can look here and then see, okay, well, maybe I want to check for, how do you call it? Maybe, let's say, marketing, right? So what are some of the marketing AI tools there? Once you select, you see a whole long list of tools. You can browse through, read a little bit about them, but be very cautious when picking AI tools to use. Not all AI tools will guarantee the safety of your data or your information, and you don't want to just throw that in there. If you're just playing around and experimenting, that's absolutely fine. So do well to check out future tools. So we'll go back to our presentation and we'll look at video generation. One of my favorite tools to use right now is the video generation within Gemini. That's if you have a subscription. Once again, please pardon me. I don't have my device, so I'm not able to log into my subscription for the demonstration. But if you've seen on social media lately, there has been a whole influx of videos generated with Google's Gemini, right? So the tool that's the service is VO3, right? You have VO3 model, right? So that VO3 model is what has made it possible for people to be able to create very realistic looking video. I don't know how many of you saw that, and some of those videos that were trending a few weeks back about it snowing in Ghana on TikTok and Instagram and all of those things. Maybe you could show by hand. Just give me a hand if you saw that. Okay. All right. So we'll continue. All right. Okay, great. So this model is what has Google's VO3 model is what has made all of this possible. You know, so you want to spend some time, play around with the VO model. They have a 1 month free trial. If you click on try Gemini, you could also do this on your mobile phone. Just download the Gemini app, subscribe for a 1 month free trial. Just make sure that you don't put a card there that they'll come and subtract your money when you least expect it to. So make sure you use a card that probably maybe they will be able to deduct or something. And then try it out. And I promise if you love it and it's relevant to your business, you might probably want to stick with it. So the VO3 model from Gemini is an excellent one to use. It's able to generate videos. It's the only model right now that's able to generate video with audio natively, right? So if you look at this video example,
and she commands your awe with every breaking light. This ocean, it's a force, a wild, untamed might.
And
she commands your awe with every
this.
breaking light.
And here's the prompt that was used to generate this, right? So you could take cues from some of these things and then practice on view. And trust me, it's as simple as just copying this prompt and pasting it there and selecting for it to generate the video. It's that easy. You don't need to do any complicated stuff. Of course, if you want to build out something a bit more meaningful or longer, then obviously you need to be mindful of the prompts you use and stuff like that. So Google VO3 is an excellent one. And then the other one that I would probably share with you guys as well is let me type it here. So it's Cling AI, right? You can use it to do all kinds of videos for your business. For instance, you want to do a video of you've sewed a dress, or you make fashion and you don't have any model, you only have your mannequins, right? You could take pictures of your clothes, go into Cling, generate or create a model, and then based on the model, ask it to put the clothes on the model and then animate it, and it will also work for you. Of course, that'll take a bit of time and playing around to be able to generate it. But the things that you can do with Cling is fascinating. One of my other favorite tools is MidJourney, because now they've introduced video, but it's paid straight out the gate. But for Cling, you can create a free account and play around even today, right? And you can see that you can do all types of content. You can do animated content to promote stuff for your business. You can do real life stuff. And trust me, the view model is incredibly powerful. It's very, very powerful. It's one of the more powerful and accurate video tools out there. So I think because of my internet, some of the videos aren't playing, but you can play around with them, explore, and their subscription prices too are meaningful. You know, at $6.99 to be able to do some of the things that they offer. So look at this video, for instance, was created with Cling. You know, and this is cool. If you want to do like a children's storytelling thing, you could do all of that inside of Cling. So yeah, so there's a lot you can do inside of Cling. Take some time, explore with Cling, and then we'll come back to audio. With audio, I'll just look at 1, 2 for now. I'm not going to do all of them. I think that with audio, we can even go back to Hugging Space. Look at Hugging Space and look at where do we have audio? No, this is voice cloning. So even here you have data visualization, which we've not looked at yet. But once again, you can go there and play around. So text generation, image generation. Okay, update detection. Okay, so let's see. So voice clone, for instance, if you want to do voice clone, generate realistic voices. So I'll click on this, for instance. Let's see let's just test it out. Of course, I'm not going to use this for business. I will have to do a bit of research and understand how it works. And then we'll just test this out. Just a moment. Okay, so okay, sorry, I'm back. So yeah, so let's just test out the sample they have
The
for us.
Hispaniola was rolling scuppers under in the ocean swell. The booms were tearing at the blocks. The rudder.
Okay, so maybe I could go with the default one that we have here. Hi there, my new voice clone, blah 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 blah. Sorry, and then select my options and say, okay, I agree first. Do not. Sorry, I'll just skip those and then go to send so that it generates. So this is what I like about Hugging Face. Without even logging in, you are able to test out different types of AI tools. And this supports converting like the audio you've generated from one language to the
Hi
other.
there. I'm your new voice clone.
So
Try
there
your
we have
best to upload.
you understand. So you have this was the reference audio used.
The
So
Hispaniola was rolling.
you could upload an audio of your voice, for instance, clone that, and then now you can type whatever text you want to generate the audio that you want to use for your business. So if you are somebody who is a content creator, for instance, your social media team, for instance, and you don't want to always be doing voiceovers and all of that, clone your voice with some of the text to speak tools out there and then use that. All right, so let's look back at our diagram. We've looked at text, we've looked at audio, we'll look at video, and I would have to speedily go through the other ones. Otherwise, we might not be able to finish our discussion today. All right, so we looked at video, we looked at text, we looked at Cling, we looked at Google's View 3. For now, there's a ton more which we can talk about. But once again, go to future tools, play around and see what you can do. Once again, for research tools, right, there are quite a number of them. But what I've found to be quite relevant or quite useful tools, we are not looking at enterprise level stuff. We are looking at just like, small to medium sized businesses. Enterprise level stuff, the tools get a bit more complicated than this, right? But for small to medium sized businesses, I mean, these tools that we have here, let me just take this and then we'll take it here. All right. So this, for instance, we could do, sorry, so Groq, just a moment. All right. So Groq, I'm introducing you guys to the tools that have some level of free options for you to play around with. All right, so we could do Groq, and then obviously the ever relevant chat GPT. So sorry, I prefer to do Gemini a lot these days, but so I'll put Gemini here rather, and then NotebookLM. Even though two tools from Google, I know it's not fair, but the truth is they are really good at what they do. Okay, I really hope I'm able to do a demonstration of NotebookLM on this account. Let me see if I can log into something here. My two-factor authentication. Oh no. Okay. All right, sure. No problem. Please pardon me. All right. So Groq, which we looked at earlier, let me just open Groq up. It's incredibly powerful when it comes to research. All right. When you come to Groq.com, right, which is powered by XAI, it has very solid research tools that scour the internet for all the relevant things that you would need for the research you're doing, right? If you prompt it well, you'd be able to get amazing research. So one of the use cases that I do, for research for businesses is I would sometimes initiate a deeper search on Groq, let it generate a couple of documents for me. I take those documents and go into NotebookLM and then allow NotebookLM to analyze those documents and sometimes even convert it to an audio for me, which I can listen in the comfort of my home at the time when I have some more time to myself. So based on the type of research you want to do, just come here, turn on deep research or deeper research. So let's say you want to do, for this one, you can keep the prompts a bit simple. I want to do a detailed research on the current state of the economy of Nigeria, right? So let's say I want to do something like this, right? Then you set it off. I don't know if it will ask me to create an account, but even without it's asking me to sign in. So when you sign in, it will take quite some time and do a very, very, very detailed research, right? Then you can take that research, come into NotebookLM. Oh, I really need to be able to sign into one thing here, at least to show you guys this. Let me come in here. Okay. While we are looking at the other tools, I'll try and then sign into something here because I definitely need to show you guys how NotebookLM works. Try and sign in with a different account here. So let's go back to the presentation while I sort out the NotebookLM login. So one of the things, or one of the reasons why I suggest NotebookLM is that, different people or different individuals learn and work differently. Some of you prefer to be able to read stuff. Some of you prefer to be able to watch stuff. Some of you prefer to be able to combine a mixture of them. So what NotebookLM does is it gives you room for multiple. Just a moment. I'm trying to see if I can log into one of the accounts to at least demonstrate this. Okay. All right. So I should have. Okay, all right. I think I should be in now so that at least I can show you guys how NotebookLM works. Okay, great. So we are in.
Hello, I think Micah had a little challenge. So he has dropped
Hello,
off.
can you hear me? I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys saw what I was saying about the notebook, and then was that where it dropped off? I just want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll just quickly share that. I've been able to sign in now, so we should be good to go. So yes, so we look at NotebookLM now, right? So I did some research in the past, which I'll use as an example. So for demonstration purposes, I went online and I was just researching, right? So I found a PDF that was talking about Ghana's education sector, right? And I was like, okay, I don't have the time to be able to digest everything. So how do I research through it a bit quickly? So I came to Google NotebookLM, which is powered by Google, clicked on Add, and dropped the document I found here, uploaded it, and then I came to the chat section and said, okay, what can you tell me? So let's say I can ask another question. What can you tell me about Ghana's education system from, let's say, just 2019 to 2021. So what this does is it analyzes the data and information that you've given it to give you results based on that. So you can add multiple pages. So if it's for your business, you can add multiple PDFs. You can even add YouTube videos. It will extract information from the YouTube videos for you, right? So after asking it questions about documents, saying that, okay, so for primary school education, for instance, net primary enrollment saw an increase reaching 86% by 2019. So it has highlighted very key things from the document, and I can click on this for even more details as to where it is, right? I'm not going to go into details into all of this. And the best part about all of this is that you can create what we call an audio overview of the documents you've uploaded, right? And then you can listen to it in an interactive mode. You could also create a mind map to which simplifies the content of the document for you. Why is this taking a while to load? Okay, it should work. But so for now, we'll create the audio overview. It will generate over here, and then we'll test out the interactive mode, right? It should take a few minutes, and we should have our audio overview. We'll come back to it while it's loading, and then we'll go back to our presentation so that we can make up for most of the time. So for me, even though these are not the only best tools out there, we have Perplexity, we have ChatGPT itself and others. I think that even on the free end, Google offers a lot of value for research for businesses. Groq offers a lot of value. If you pay for the pro plans, you get even more value. Gemini or Google services, I like them a lot more because they have what we call like a larger context window, which means that they're able to understand, like you're able to have a longer conversation with them, and the AI will still understand the context of the conversation. Some AI tools, after you have chat to a certain place, they start to hallucinate a lot. So, all right, let's move to product dev while we wait for the NotebookLM. Okay, the overview is ready. All right, so we'll click on
let's
play.
unpack this. When Ghana celebrated its
So the overview ends up becoming like a podcast discussion of the document you gave it. So that let's say you're driving to work, or you're coming back from work, or you want to maybe want to relax, you can listen to the overview and get a deep insight as to what the document was about.
back in 1957. Kind of staggering to think, but less than 1 in 5 adults could actually read.
Less than 20%.
So you see, it goes back to look at your document and states a very key part of the document, saying that way back in like around 1957 or so, less than a certain percentage of adults in Ghana could read. You understand? And it builds on it. So it makes this more interactive. So for people who are like learning new things, or maybe trying out and trying to explore new things you could do with your business, you could do this to understand that new field you are exploring much better. I like the interactive mode even more because in the interactive mode, you can actually ask questions and get responses like you would do in a classroom, right? So I'll play this.
Okay, let's unpack this. When Ghana celebrated its independence back in 1957, it's kind of staggering to think, but less than 1 in 5 adults could actually read.
Less than 20%. It's hard to picture now.
Right, but fast forward, a few...
Oh, wait. Someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Okay, so let me allow this. Okay, so how many adults did you say could read at the time?
That's a great question, and we're happy to clarify.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about fewer than 20% of adults.
So if you imagine a group of 100 adults,
Hey, yeah, what's up?
Okay, so sorry to interrupt, but why was it that there were very few adults who could read back then?
no worries at all. That's a really important question.
Yeah, that's why we're here to unpack these things.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Ghana had just gained independence in 1957.
Right, from colonial rule.
And under that colonial system, access to education was just not widespread.
It was very limited, often reserved for a small elite.
So you see, without even reading the document, I've been able to get very meaningful information that probably answers certain questions that I have. So I'll leave that here for you guys to play around with, to explore later on while we try and then wrap up, because we are far behind time, and I'll try and do as much as we can do in the little time that we have left. So when it comes to product development, that is a very fascinating space now. I keep telling people these days that we live in a dispensation where it's crazy to think that you can build a micro SaaS or build a small application or a micro application for your business. That was virtually impossible just a few years back. That you couldn't do, you needed like teams to be able to do that for you, right? For instance, right now, you could literally just, let me give you a practical example, right? So we are going to go into Gemini, which is one of my favorite tools. So for this one, I'm not going to show you the tools. I'm going to show you more of the, should I say, the services. So let me add this here. So for product development, right, we have a couple of people. So we have, or a couple of things. So we have vibe coding, right? We have, we have vibe coding. They'll duplicate this. We have AI assisted development, and then we have enthusiasts. Okay, so when it comes to the product development side of things, right, for your business, you could use a couple of these approaches to build solutions for your business. You could vibe code, which I'll explain. You could do AI assisted development if you already have a team of programmers or developers at your disposal, or you're even subcontracting an external business to do that for you. And then we also have enthusiast projects which you could do for your business. I'll start with the enthusiast and vibe coding, which because it's the easiest to do with. So the whole concept of vibe coding is basically using AI to build applications using natural language, right? So instead of going to an AI tool and then typing code, because maybe you didn't never learn code in your life and code is scary to you, you can just type in English and it will build an application for you. And one of the most powerful tools out there that you could also use for free, Groq is one of them. Claude has free options as well. Two of the best ones, like I mentioned, Claude is a great one, but Gemini has a fantastic interface called the Canvas, which you can use. So you come to gemini.google.com, click on Canvas and come here. So let's say in your business, right, you normally generate invoices and you always have to like let somebody do it manually, go into maybe Excel, go into Canva, or go somewhere else and go and design all of them. You can come here and say, okay, I want you to build a simple application for me to generate invoices for my business. I want the app to take my data and input it and do all the relevant calculations, and then generate a preview of the invoice which I can edit or download. as PDF, right? So let's say you want to do something like this for a business. In Canvas mode, I'm going to click on it. It's going to take a little bit of time, and it's incredibly fast. This is things that if you had to code by yourself before, probably in the past would have taken a couple of days, even if you knew how to program, right? So we'll leave it to work along, and we'll come back while we explore other things, right? So we live in that dispensation now that these tools have made it extremely easy for people to be able to build things like web apps, things like mobile apps. And trust me when I tell you that there's over 100, maybe even over 200 tools which you can use for vibe coding at this point. But once again, try to be mindful of your security and your data. Go with the more trusted brands. Personally, I would recommend Claude and Google, the products from Claude and Google, and then probably how do you call it? There, of course, there are other ones that are also pretty good, but in my experience building apps with AI, I think the best for me have been, without doubt, have been Claude AI and then Google's Gemini, right? So let's see if it's done. Okay, and you can see this has taken less than 5 minutes, right? This is a genuine concern that businesses have, right? So you could even build this and not even host it on anything and just leave it inside of Gemini. And anytime you want to use it, just come and input your stuff here and it will work for you. And this might save your business a lot of cost, a lot of money, a lot of time and effort. So it will build the whole thing for you. We'll come back to it, but let's look at our presentation. So yeah, so vibe coding can be used for very serious work, but it can also be used for enthusiast work. Maybe you're just playing around with like fun things, you want to build like fun stuff for yourself, you can do that. And then we have AI assisted development. So AI assisted development is somewhat also related to vibe coding, but in this case, you have somebody who is probably already trained as a programmer, as a developer, as a database expert, as a DevOps person, as whatever it is, but they use AI to assist them with the development process. And there are various tools for that. And one of my favorite development tools currently is Cursor AI. It's more of an IDE which you need to download to your laptop, and it's a bit more complicated and advanced. But online, one of the platforms you can play around with and create an account is called lovable.dev. It's not the only one, there are lots of them, but I found that Lovable is more beginner friendly because it has similar approach to the way ChatGPT is. Just type the language here to generate the apps for you. You can play around with Lovable, create an account, just as you are doing in Gemini, type what you want to build, it will create for you. Like I mentioned, Claude also has a similar interface which you can play around, but Lovable provides you a more complete tool. But this is not more for the advanced guys. This is more for those who want to play around. But if you want to do more advanced stuff, I would suggest Cursor AI. So let's go here and see if our tool is ready. Let me reshare my screen. This thing too. Let's share the screen. Yes, so you can see here that our invoice generator is ready for us. So let's say if I type here that the School of Business Accra, so this is from us to, let's say, Ghana Business School, also let's say Kumasi, and then email of the one sending and for phone, let's say 0244 419 419. Please, I hope that's not somebody's number. And then we'll do another 020 419 419. All right, and then invoice number. So it has given us the format. So we'll do, hey, what's my hashtag? Yeah, I can't find my hashtag. Oh. Problem has come. Okay, please, I can't figure this device out. Anyway, I'll just type just the letters 002, date of issue, let's do tomorrow, due date, let's do 2 weeks from then. Let's say maybe chairs, right? And then quantity, let's do 2. And then the price, let's do 1 is 200 cedis, right? So it's done it in dollars. You can ask it to change it to cedis if you want. If there are any notes, fine. Then you click on generate preview. And just like that, we have a preview generated for us, a new voice generated for us, as you can see here. Sorry. As you can see here, we have an invoice generated for us with our details, with everything that we want here, and then we can download PDF. And it has worked. It has actually downloaded a PDF, and this app was built in less than 10 minutes. That is the power of AI at our disposal now. And I feel like a lot of us need to really take advantage and utilize these tools for the benefit of our businesses and even for our personal lives. Right. So I'll quickly switch back to this. So that's the product development side of things. So if you're vibe coding, even with UI development, UI UX, Google even has tools which you can access for building UI. There are some other tools out there. And one of my favorite tools, I used to use Flutterflow in the past, and then they now have a new platform called Dreamflow. I think that's what it is. And basically what Dreamflow does is an AI-powered mobile app building tool. I don't know if it does just the UI for now. Let me see. Dreamflow. Yes, instantly build Flutter apps. So it's the entire app development, on steroids. So you can come to Dreamflow Labs, and if you're somebody who wants to build things, but you don't want to do a lot of coding, of course, you need some product development knowledge. You need some system application development knowledge. You need to understand how apps work, understand, okay, you have database, you have front end, blah, 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 blah. But it's much less challenging to do that with AI tools than doing that manually, so you could build a whole business for yourself from there. All right, so I'll quickly move there to the last item on here, which is marketing, which is probably some of your favorites, for most people's favorite, like, should I say, aspect. So when it comes to marketing, that one is fascinating because it combines a lot of the things that we've already looked at. So your image creation tools, your text tools, there are specific tools, AI tools that are geared towards marketing though. But all the same, there are various aspects of marketing that have now become AI powered, right? For instance, even within Meta's advertising suite, these days it tries to suggest audiences for you. Same with Google's suites, based on AI, it's able to generate, give you certain suggestions for captions for your ads and stuff like that. I would employ us to take some time to play around with these tools. So for these ones, we have, let me go here. So we could have here our, so advertising. So for this, we'll look at just a few tools because of time. And then over here, sorry, we'll do advertising, we'll do content creation. I may not be able to cover everything marketing related, so I'll just highlight just the key stuff, content creation, and then maybe potentially we'll do reporting. Yes, so these are some of the areas where you could really utilize AI, and you'd be amazed to know that these days a lot of companies are settling for images created by AI to market, images and videos created by AI to market their products. Let me go back once again to Gemini to show you how easy it is to create marketing ads, right? So let's say I come here and I've already utilized my video credits for today. Let me see. I hope it doesn't. Okay, so good. We get to test it out. So I'm going to generate, so create a video of a young boy, a young Ghanaian boy looking at his shoe in his hand and saying that I can't wait to get Nike footwear. Looking at his shoe, his football shoes. Okay, so of course, when creating content for marketing, you go through a lot more processes of like actually brainstorming for the ad and all of that before you go ahead to generate. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use this and then allow it to generate the video. We'll come back in like 1 to 2 minutes and then we'll see what it's able to put together for us so that you see how powerful some of these tools that we have at our disposal are. So that is the content creation side of things. That already ties in some of what I've showed you with the text, with the video, with the images. We'll look at the image creation tools. Most of you already know ChatGPT can create images, but most of these popular models also offer image generation tools. For instance, Groq offers native image generation. Even though it's not one of the best, I think for now, Google and ChatGPT have much better image generation capabilities compared to Groq. So once again, we'll test out Gemini. I just want the video to be done first. Also, not forgetting that if you have a subscription to a tool like Canva, you actually have access to image generation AI, video generation. They've now included video generation and also text related stuff. So if you have a Canva subscription, you could do most of these things in Canva as well. So I could come here and click create images. That's if I've not reached my limit for the day. So draw an image of a man wearing an African hat. Am I spelling it wrong? Hat. A black African hat, wearing a black African hat with a Nike swoosh on it, right? So these are just ideas we're just playing about with. We'll let it generate. I just hope it doesn't ask me to create an account. So we'll go back to Gemini and our video is ready. And in just a few seconds of us conversing, Gemini has generated a video for us with of course, it didn't get the prompt right, but look at how quickly we've been able to get a result that we could potentially work with. Usually you're supposed to generate audio, but sometimes it has issues with the audio. But that's how advanced some of these tools are, how quickly they can get things done for you. I could do the same thing by saying that, come here and say, create an image, and then we see there are a lot more standard tools for image generation. Like we have Midjourney, we have Leonardo, we have so many of them for you to play around, and we have the free ones from China as well. But once again, like I showed you guys, you can always come to Hugging Face, right? Go to Hugging Face Spaces, go to image generation. You would find Flux is one of the best ones out there for image generation. You can play around with it, generate some images, see what works for you. But once again, be mindful of what you upload to some of these AI tools. All right, so we'll see that our image should be ready very shortly. Okay, it says it couldn't do that because there are a lot of requests now, which is fine. I'll try and then come back here later on. So let's go back to our presentation. Yes, where are you? Yes. So for reporting, marketing reporting, and advertising, there are a couple of tools you could use. And for advertising, like I mentioned, there are a number of the things, the AI tools that are integrated directly into the platforms like Facebook, Meta, and all of those things. And for reporting, once again, like the tool we look at, Gamma and others are very good for generating reports. Because of time, I may not be able to like dive so deep into all of these things, but I strongly believe that if you look at your business with this sort of overview, right, considering security before adopting an AI tool, considering cost, considering ease of use, and then once you've made those considerations, you look at your business to see which aspect of your business you want to improve with AI. If you want to improve reporting, communication, research, product dev, marketing, you could do that, right? I've already put reporting here, it shouldn't be here. So reporting, we can have Gamma over here. We'll do this here, we'll move this here. We could have Gamma over here. So Gamma is really, really good at putting together reports. There's a flurry of tools out there. We can't possibly cover all, even if you had 4 hours, right? It would take time, it would take a couple of days probably to cover all of them. But if you could break your business down with such an overview, so I'll look at communication, look at research, look at product dev, look at marketing. Of course, there might be a bit more categories depending on the type of business you do. But this will give you a good start as to how to approach AI, how to approach the AI tools, and some of the tools that you could actually play around with. So I'll just try one more time with this and see, generate something else. Let me share this. So we'll come here and say, okay, let's generate an image. So create an image of a Ghanaian man dressed in a long overall, holding a bright red bowl. All right, so I mean, we let our imagination loose, right? And then we let that generate. Just give it a moment. It shouldn't take too long. And this also works with ChatGPT as well. You could create like you could create images with ChatGPT and other platforms. There are a lot of free platforms out there. Some from yes. So just like that, look at if you're working on a presentation, for instance, and you needed an image like this, right? This would easily pass for like a regular guy, some overall. So of course you can prompt it better to get like better moves, better like outfits and all of those things. But that's how powerful these tools are and how quickly they're able to get you the results that you want. So the rest is left to us to understand where the AI tools fit in our business and then where to start from, and then go ahead to integrate that. So I think I'll wrap up here. Sorry, and then we can take any questions if there are any, and then hopefully we'll call it a day after that. So thank you very much for your time, and my apologies once again for the delay for today's session. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Micah, for another very insightful session. We're really grateful for your time. So the allowed time has already been fast spent, so we'll just allow just about two questions, and then we can call it a day. So I have put the WhatsApp channel, mNotify's WhatsApp channel link in the chat box. That's where we are going to share the video recording of this session. So please, if you haven't already, or if you aren't on our page already, kindly click on the link in the chat box that will take you to mNotify's WhatsApp channel, where we'll be sharing the video as well as any other sessions that may be coming up. You'll be part of the first to know about it as well. So Emmanuel's hand is up, so we'll allow Emmanuel to have ask his question. Then after we take just one more.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Micah. Thanks. This was really insightful. I have one question, which is the idea of if you've come across any sort of like an AI tool that would like really help with elements around copywriting or attempting to have a very solid legal covering around the content that you generate. It was funny when someone was saying, "Oh, I know this man." The guy's face looks very familiar. Myself, I feel like I know him already. So I'm sort of like wondering if any of us or more so Micah yourself, if you've come across any tool yet. Of course, I would be personally exploring, but I'm curious to know what you have come to see, because there's also a debate going on with the idea of you generate a song or a movie or an image. What steps can you take to ensure that somehow your content is unique, and that you don't wake up one day and it's like, wait, what you either created maybe it's like everywhere, or everybody is also having the same thing because it's coming from the same maybe model of a sort or the same AI tool. So I'm sort of like curious about that. If there's like any information around that. Yeah, Micah, I'll hand over to you, Micah. Standing by.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the question, Emmanuel. I think I dropped off for a moment, but I caught the very last things you were saying about. So my understanding is that you want to understand how you can ensure that while using some of these AI tools, your content remains unique, if that's correct.
Yeah. And then if there are any illegal things, you could use another AI to sort of like cement the base of everything you are getting out of these AI tools. Yeah, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. All right. So basically, from what I've realized from my experience, when it comes to let's start with like the content you create, copyright stuff, and all of those things. I think that it's still very new ground for most countries and most institutions. So for now, a lot of people get away with like copyright stuff because we are in the phase where most of the businesses and governments believe that most of the governments and just a minute. Sorry, just sorry about that. Yeah. So we're in a space where most governments and organizations believe that because AI is so new, we need that room to be able to explore. So they shouldn't be really limited by a lot of these things. Of course, probably in future it might change, but then by then the models would have already been trained. So what I have found to help make your things stand out a bit more or differentiate them or make them a bit more standard, for the industry work and all of that is, let's say maybe I would summarize that to two or three things. Number one is because of how powerful these tools are now, those who are really thriving are the idea people. So the ideas are the things that are making things stand out now. Because if you go on social media now, there's a flurry of VO3 content out there, but there are still accounts who are growing because they are using it to create content that is fresh, that is exciting. For instance, after those videos about like Bigfoot vlogging and things in the forest went viral, a lot of people were trying to copy that. Then people started doing street interviews. People were trying to copy that. But they have seen people use these tools in very niche ways that are quite unique. Of course, even that, you are not shielded from somebody copying you. But I think that the more unique your idea is and the more customizability you add to it, either through your prompts or through like the images you use to convert to video, for instance, or even in the image style you create, that would eventually set you apart. For instance, in using AI tools to develop apps, one thing I've noticed is depending on the AI tool you use, sometimes they have very similar UI, UX. So for me, like this, I've built sort of like a framework of like ways I usually want my AI to build the UI for my applications and I build and stuff like that. And I've included those instructions in my Cursor AI. So if I'm building anything like that, it doesn't go by what everybody else is used to. So you'd probably see myself and somebody else build a tool, the same type of tool, but mine will look different and look more professional because I've taken the pain and the time to add more instructions to ensure that what it gives me is not just for lack of a better word, like slop like everybody else's own, So the ideas are very important. And then also, like you said, so using combining multiple tools to get a better result. For instance, if somebody goes to generate videos with maybe just the Flow platform from VO3, maybe it might have a particular feel, but if somebody else goes to use MidJourney, for instance, goes through the whole process of generating individual images for each of the shots, goes to use Suno AI to generate like music tracks for it, goes to use 11 AI or 11 Labs platform to generate some nice audio for the voices, goes to use another tool and combines all of them nicely, the output would obviously be of a higher level than somebody who probably just went straight to use one tool to generate those things. So I think that adding those layers also go a long way to improve like the content that you can put out. Thank you.
Very great. Thank you very much, Micah. Emmanuel, I hope your question has been answered.
That was very helpful. Thanks so much, Micah. Yeah, Michael, standing by.
All right. So, Micah, I think we have our last question in the chat. Someone is asking,
Oh, okay. Asking about the UI tool. So I'm coming. Let me see if I can show you this. I've signed out of my Google here, but I'll try and then share this. So for the UI tools, it really depends on exactly what you want to create, right? But Google has a new platform called the Stitch, I think. Yeah, I think it's Stitch. Let me share my screen. Just a short one, nothing very long. So Google has this platform called Stitch, which you can use to build UIs for your app, which is it's quite extensive or quite interesting. So you can play it. If you go to Stitch, if you Google Google Stitch, you go to Stitch dot. Let me see if I can paste it in the chat. Go to Stitch dot. It's a pretty powerful tool. You can play around with it and then see. But for me, the one I use to do my UIs from scratch or from ground up is Kesa AI. So that one is Kesa AI. That one you literally like go back and forth to the app. But usually you could also use like an MCP tool, for instance. MCP tools are just tools that help you communicate between different AI tools. Oh, I totally forgot. We didn't speak about AI agents, but hopefully maybe another time we'll talk about those things. Yeah, so you could probably use an MCP tool, take your design from Figma, connect it to Kesa, and then the AI will convert those designs into your app UI for you as well. So that's also an option that's out there. But for now, like these tools are pretty useful for most of what you'd want to do. Yeah, so let me know if that answers your question, please.
Okay, great. Thank you, Micah. So please don't forget to join our WhatsApp channel. We'll be sharing the full video of this webinar as well as the tools that Michael has taken us through today. We'll send a list of the tools as well there. So when you have some time, you can explore it yourself and you can see how it works to suit your business as well. I believe this has been a very insightful and helpful session as usual. Thank you so much, Micah, for your time. We really appreciate it. We know it's not easy and free to get to you, but you always answer our calls when we reach out to you. Thank you so much for that. If you want to reach Micah as well, or maybe other extensive sessions, Micah, can you please drop a contact in the chat box as well for them, so that if anyone wants to reach you to book a session with you, they can do that as well. All right, he has. So Godsway has his hand up. We'll take Godsway's last remarks or question, and then Ronald give us the closing thoughts. Thank you.
Sorry, so I'll just add right now my little booked for sessions, but if you need any advice, any guidance, any direction, point you in the right way, just feel free to message me. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Micah. Godsway, is your hand still up? Okay, all right, Godsway is up. So Ronald, please, any final thoughts before we call it tonight?
Okay, I would want to say just a big thank you to Micah for this session. It's been very good. A lot of interesting tools that have been shared. My charge for all of us is that we should explore, learn how to use some of these tools, explore other tools. More importantly, I like the fact that he had circles showing different aspects of your business. Pick one aspect of your business and implement that. And as usual, feel free to reach out to us, share the success story, and we'll be more than willing to share that across. For those of you on LinkedIn, you can also follow my LinkedIn post. I'm doing a series on how to integrate AI into your business. So you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'll share the link in the chat, and hopefully we can engage more. Thank you guys very much. It's been a good session, and let's enjoy the rest of the evening and the long weekend. Cheers.
All right, bye. Enjoy the weekend.
All right,
we'll keep you updated on any next session. All right, bye.
Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
Okay, so my LinkedIn is in the chat for those who, it's just Rontego. So for those who want to connect.